Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 473. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Hello.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners, viewers, to 473 of the Gamecast. Whew. Let's just start this off. Let's just start this off right. I've lost a bet. Let's just get to this right away here. Technically I think there's when did Red Dead Redemption 2 actually come out? September or was it October?
October.
Okay, so technically I do have one more month, but we all know there's no chance I have, because of PC, for that to get out of the top 20. It was 19 in this NPD. We're going to go over the NPD numbers, but Tony, I was close.
You're close.
And I like Nick chimed in. He's like, "What was he thinking?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, I was close. I feel like if a couple games,
the spirit of the bet was kind of there for you, Jim, because it's definitely not doing GTA 5 stuff.
Oh, we knew that to begin with. I think it was just more about how good that online community was going to be, and I don't think it's that good, and that's why I'm shocked it's still hanging on.
It hasn't been great.
So, but yeah. So it's been, I don't know. It's been interesting. I don't know, but yeah. I guess I lost that one. So I'm pointing up for a movie. Tony, you got a week to come up with a movie for me. Announce it next week. I will watch it next week on my break, and I will, to pay up for the podcast after. I promise everybody that 100% I will watch this movie. I'm resetting it all, so I didn't follow through with a couple things. We're gonna reset it.
I mean, there's got to be something good on Disney Plus with all those teeny bop.
I'm sure there is.
High school musical.
Lizzie, I saw Liz. Actually,
stuff on there.
So
Lizzie McGuire was on. It was killing.
So Jim, you have to definitely get one from me for the Avengers long-term one. Too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll figure that out. Let me take a look. See,
well, we can all watch the same movie together.
We could all watch the same movie together. We could do that.
All right. Yeah.
So, we'll have to figure that one out. Okay. Anyway, so let's get into what I've been up to now. We got through the bet. I'll kick us off. I played Outer Worlds over the weekend. I really got pulled into that. I got off the first world, went to the ship, went through the ship, got to another world, went through that world, got to another world, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, man, I can kind of start seeing what Tony was saying last week about the similarities of everything here. It was just everything is so similar. Even the layout of the buildings, it's just all the same.
There's definitely recycled interiors.
Yeah, I go into a building and I'm like, well, I know this layout already. I know where I'm going because it's all the same damn thing. Here's this room up here, operating manufacturing room. You go up this ramp here, and it just seems very similar. And there's not enough variety. It's not that they're all the same. The enemies, there's not enough variety of enemies. If they had 8 different enemies rather than 3. I feel like there would be it would still hold longer on different planets.
It's funny because they actually have a handful of different animals, but they all kind of behave similarly.
Yeah,
and they're not that. They're also not. The animals aren't interesting to me. And then there's just pretty much one generic human enemy that you come across for the most part.
One generic human enemy, and then I'll tell you the one planet I can't remember the planet I was just on, the really jungly one.
Monarch?
Yes. I really took my time on that planet, and because I went the wrong way. That one quest, you have to run all the way across the planet, and I didn't stick to the road. I was trying to make shortcuts across, and you can't take shortcuts in that one. No, I didn't know that. So I found a rare monster. I killed a rare monster. I was going through a whole bunch of spots.
There's stuff to explore there. I don't think the issue with the game is actually how big it is physically, or the size of the world, or even stuff exploration. I think the issue is there's just not enough different things to do or find within it.
Yeah. It's pretty similar, and the dialogue options are actually pretty similar too. I find myself just picking my perk ones that come up, because I want the experience. And I'm even if I don't want to say the line, I'm like, well, I want to get the experience for this. So
yeah, I was finding I was doing that too, just early on even.
Yeah, because I want to get the levels. I'm 13 in the game now. I think level 13 or 14.
So I'll jump off and say I'm doing a second playthrough. It's slightly more evil, even though I'm trying to make peace more with certain because I just want to do stuff that's different. And I think again, like the gear is really somewhere that the game needed help. I got this time around. I didn't do my first playthrough. I did a somewhat late game thing where I got one piece of gear that finally like seems like it makes a big difference. Like it seems like a high level piece of gear that like matters, and it's really the only one I've like seen that like felt that way so far in this game. You do have to sort of jump through hoops to get it. But it's just I'm playing through it a second time. I am finding a few different quests. I couldn't bring myself to go full board affiliate. Like, so I kind of wanted to just see it. The later part of it, I'm like, I'm just gonna murder a bunch of these people instead of like listening to them, even though I followed what they said. So I'm being more gray my second time through.
I definitely talked to a woman in a prison cell. And said, yes, I will help you out. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to do all this. And I just shot her in the head. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I did that too. I did
that my second.
Same exact.
I did that my
I just didn't want to do it all.
Except I have a thing where I can't open the door now to get.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the door. I still have to go back and finish that. I left the planet without finishing that.
I didn't finish it either, and honestly, don't really need to.
No, but the other quest I did was hilarious. It was hilarious because I am sticking to my playthrough of this is for me. I'm not saying I'm a villain. I'm not saying a bad guy. This is for me. What's in this for me in this game? Like, I'm doing this just for me.
Just because you're a bad guy does not mean you are.
Exactly.
Bad guy.
I'm just doing this for me. So there was a dialogue text where the woman on the ship sent me to talk to her son, to go get her son because he was in trouble, and you get there and he just ran away, and he's like 40-year-old, and I'm like, dude, I am not dealing with garbage.
He was in the town.
Yeah, and he's a whiny 40-year-old, and I'm like, dude, I said to him, it was funny because I said to him in one of my lines, I was like, this line works perfectly. And it was persuasion. I think it was intimidate. It was like, if you don't go back now, I'm gonna go back and kill your mom. And I'm like, and it was, yeah, it was unbelievable. And then my companions were like, whoa, you don't actually mean that. And then like the dialogue says, do you actually mean this? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, oh man, I don't know why'd you go there? You didn't have to go there. And he's like, Jesus. And he just walks away from me and he goes back home. And I'm like, there, mission accomplished. Let me get the hell out of this town.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely a good game. It's just I'm glad you're finally at that area because, like, and Mike, you highlighted too. So, like, my biggest gripes are the lack of variety, especially in Monster and housing. It actually would have been funnier if they embraced that though and made like a joke, like, oh well, all the buildings in this solar system are supplied by those giant corporations, so it makes sense that they're all the same. Yeah. It's consistency across the board and stuff like that. But like, because they don't, it kind of takes me out of it. At least before it's like, haha, like here's a joke about our indie development. And I get
they
it.
could have even said that evil corporations supplied all life to the planets. Maybe there was lifeless planets. Yep. That would have been good.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, and then especially the loot, because the thing is, I told you guys I was going the like leadership route. So I just gave any of the best gear I got, I just gave to my recruits and just my party members and just let them shoot everything. And because they don't need ammo, they don't need anything, and just use your power skills. I'm just like, okay, like here you go. So again, it's a good game. I'm just griping here. We're like, kind of like we talked about Ultimate Alliance 3, and I think somebody made that comparison the other week too. Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah,
but it could have been a great game.
It just falls short.
Yeah.
So
no, and yeah, I mean, just so I could get my thoughts out for my second playthrough.
No,
go ahead.
I just want to get it over with. It's just now I lost track of what I was saying. Never mind, just keep going.
You're being a villain.
So you're saying it's not winning
You're being a villain.
award.
Well, for me it might, but because there hasn't been much that's sort of eclipsed it in my mind this year.
See, I have a suggestion for us. I'll talk about it afterwards. Remind me to mention my suggestion for our game of the year. But okay, go on.
But yeah, I find myself having trouble being super mean the second time through. Like I went out of my way to try to be mean to Parvati, if you know who that character is, because it's hard to do. It's hard to do. Like after the first playthrough, I was like super nice to her. I jumped all the hoops for her, and she throws a lot of hoops at you at the end of her companion quest, and you're kind of like, all right. But the second time, I'm like, let's see, can I be mean to her? And it's just like, oh, yeah, you can. It's kind of funny. But
See, no, I've been
tough.
nice. I've been nice to certain people. I've not been a bad guy through the whole game. Like Tony said, I'm not a bad guy. No, but I'm in it for me. But I'm nice to people when they're not stupid and they make sense. Like if I need them, I'll be nice to them for a little while. Like my companions, I'm pretty nice to those people. Pretty nice.
Companions too.
Yeah.
And the thing about them too is I feel like 2 or 3 of them are like great, and like the rest of them are terrible as far as like just characters. Like I love Parvati and Max. I find interesting, and Nyoka is like there, and then Ellie and Felix suck, and the robot's just a dumb robot. So I don't know. I kind of wish like the second half was on par with the first, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I will see. I'm just getting to that point apparently, so we'll see how it goes. But I was gonna play longer last night, but the game uninstalled itself, and my save game was gone. Thank God for cloud saves, because it downloaded the cloud save, and I was like, oh, okay. Thank God they did that, because
Jesus,
there would have been a lot angrier messages coming from me on Discord if that had happened.
You get so many weird things that happen to you.
I went to launch the game. I turned the system on. I launched the game. It says, this game is not installed. Please contact tech support or whatever it is. I'm like, that's weird. So then
Did you not? You sure you didn't secretly buy it physically? I forgot.
Nope.
The opposite.
The opposite, no. So then I restarted my console and tried it again. Same thing. It took me a while, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just see what happens if I reinstall it. But I couldn't quite reinstall it because it kept coming up saying play. But if you go quick enough, you can just hit install. So that's what I did. I loaded the store quick enough, and I hit the install button before it said play, and then it started reinstalling. And then it fixed the problem, but I had to re-download my save data too. So it took me, I didn't get in there playing the game. I started, like 8 o'clock, and I didn't get into the game until about 10:15, 10:30, after it I downloaded and reinstalled the whole thing. So I can't wait for next gen for that. Oh, I hope into the game immediately kind of thing. I really hope they get that running right, because this 2 hours to install a game just sucks. So like I have Shenmue unopened right here, and I'm going to open it just to get it installed. But which is my next question for you guys before we get into what you guys have been up to. Are we supposed to get our own like special edition case? Is this our own case?
A slip case. You're supposed to get a slip case, maybe.
But the shipping thing said, like, backer exclusive game. This is...
Slipcase.
Is it? No. It says slipcase separately.
No, I don't know. Maybe you got a day earlier.
Is this the same case that's out? No, yeah, we did. But if this is the same game that's out on the shelves, the exact same artwork, then I'm kind of a little annoyed. I think I have a gripe this time.
Okay.
Because I know on the shipment thing it says backer exclusive game and backer exclusive game case and backer exclusive slip case. It says it on my shipping thing from Fan.
Yeah, I haven't seen the retail box, so I'm assuming it's the same though.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at that.
So the exact wording is Kickstarter games ×1 physical, Kickstarter exclusive case, and then Kickstarter ×1 Shenmue 3 slip case, which doesn't say exclusive. But
no, I think the slipcase is the Kickstarter thing.
Everything you're showing us is getting censored, by the way, because of your background work.
It's okay. So, okay. But yeah. Anyways, so I'll be playing this soon. I'm gonna get through Outer Worlds, and then I'm gonna be on to Shenmue. So that's it for me. Mike, you went right. Tony,
that's
nothing else.
Much it. No, just a little more Apex Legends.
Tony,
no one cares.
No.
Little Pokemon game came out. So
Yes.
get some hours.
Nice.
Apparently people hate it. I don't know.
Really? No, people are dumb.
I heard it's like the best version of this game, like the best version of Pokemon.
See, that's the thing. Like, all right, here's the thing. I'll sum this up real quick.
It should be.
It should be.
Yes.
Here's the thing. If you are an uber competitive, like die-hard, like you need everything ever that the game, like the series has ever offered, and if you think that it can't match every single feature, like added up, in summation, then you will find this game disappointing. If you just want to play a Pokemon game and catch new Pokemon with new abilities and new powers and new evolutions, all that stuff, explore a new world, new story, then you'll find it fine. It's great. Like, and that's fine for me because I'm more on the casual end of the Pokemon game. I play one every few years, and I'm good with that because it's a new generation. I just want to see, all the new gimmicks and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So, Jim, I can't imagine you would feel like uber disappointed or anything like that.
I think I'd be fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so far, it's great. Yeah, there's obviously things that people can nitpick, and it's not a perfect game. But again, no game is perfect. But it's fun as heck. Now that the game is out, people are enjoying it and releasing their videos and memes and stuff like that on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. And it's really funny because all the haters are like, oh, you guys are just rewarding Game Freak's laziness, this, that, and the other thing. And I just can't wait because we're finally getting sales out of like all the regions from last week. And they're like even in the UK, it's like, oh, wow, best sales of Switch since launch or something stupid like that. And it's like up 30-something%. And Japan apparently had the biggest Switch sales since Smash Brothers or something last year and stuff like that. So it's successful and it deserves to. So
yeah, it's a brand new Pokemon game. Like new engine and everything. It's not like it's tough when you have a system that you've been doing for forever, and then you switch it up for something new. You know, not single thing is going to be there. Usually, it takes a little while. And did people even think this was going to happen this early? Like, I feel like this is actually pretty early for a true mainline Pokemon game. So
yeah. Not to mention, you know, it's 3D HD now. It's not just, you know, low resolution 3DS stuff. But people just have these crazy expectations. Again, fan entitlement to a degree. I'm not saying you can't be disappointed. Like, yeah, when I first heard the news that not all, 800 Pokemon were coming over, I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then I got over it. It's like, okay, well, I can't bring all my Pokemon over, and that's fine. But, you know, that just means I get to try new Pokemon now. And I think that's one of the things that people, like, really overlook is, like, why are you continuing to pay, like, you know, $30, $40, now $60 to play a game with the Pokemon that you've been using for 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Like, what's... I guess there's a subsect of people that want to do that, and that's fine. But you have to realize you're in the minority there, you know? So, you know... And the other thing is, like, it's not like those Pokemon will never return. I'm sure next year or the year after that, they'll probably return in a different... whatever the next one is. So it's just like, calm down. Like, just because you're not getting what you want right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Like, Game Freak didn't specifically kill your Pokemon. And it's like, oh, this species is now extinct in the Pokemon world. like if they, right?
Yeah,
like if they did that.
That would be funny. They should do that. They should.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
I kind of wish they would.
That would be hilarious.
To trigger people.
Yeah.
But if they said that, then they'd be like, okay, I can understand, like, because, you know, everybody's somebody's favorite Pokemon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, game is fine. I put in like 5 or 6 hours. It's fun as heck. A lot of quality of life improvements. Like, there's fast travel. You don't have to carry around a Pokemon that can specifically fly in your party at all times. XP share.
I like that idea.
XP share is on by default right from the get-go, so you don't have to like do that shit.
Yep.
Right. And I have to say, like, the wild area, which is like the open world esque area, because it's not the whole game, but it's that area. That's fun. Like, that is awesome, and it makes me wanting more of that. So I do hope in the next iteration of the Pokemon, like, they can go to a more fully realized version of that. Yeah. Because that would be amazing. So, good game, even great game. But you know, it's not perfect. I'm not going to say I'm like, oh man, it's the best one ever. But it's fun as heck, and I'm enjoying it. So
cool. All right.
How do you feel it compares to what Pokemon was before? Like, you know, we had this kind of
I'll be right back.
Same.
Just keep going.
The same kind of engine this whole time for, like, the, you know, handheld Pokemons, and now we're getting on this console, obviously, like you're saying, 3D graphics, HD, new engine. So how does that compare? Like, do you feel it is an improvement, or would you like to have seen the same thing again?
I do, because, you know, one of the things I liked about, like, older Pokemon, I would say, like, Game Boy to DS, was that it was sprite based, and you know, a part of me really still appreciates 2D sprite work. I love it, and it makes me more nostalgic and whatnot. But when they got to the 3DS games and they're like low quality, like low res, you know,
low poly,
right, low stuff. That's when I'm like, okay, like I could see it, but it's in that weird, like we've talked about this before. It's like that N64, PlayStation 1 era, maybe even like early PS era, which is like, it just doesn't age well. It doesn't look good, but it's like I'm still playing that in 2014 or whatever it is, 2015 and stuff like that. But now, I mean, the models for the most part are gorgeous, and you get to see them up close and personal, and they just add so much life to them. Like, one of the features of this game is called Camp, and kind of self-explanatory. You set up a camp, and you release all the Pokemon that you're carrying with you, and they just kind of run around and interact with each other, and you could play with them. Like you could pet them, you could play like throw like balls at them so they fetch them for you and stuff like that. And then you can cook and feed them and stuff like that. And it's like super awesome. Just like if I were a kid, if I were like 10 or whatever, how old I was when the game came out, like I would be nuts. I would be like over the moon. Like this is crazy. Like I can't believe this is a thing. And people just spoiled because they can't, look at the good.
No, I mean, yeah, exactly. They have their nostalgic glasses on or whatever, and it's not meeting up their expectations, or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's hard because you want something specific because you're so ingrained and so used to it. But
I do think kids growing up for the longest time wanted like a full console Pokemon and had all these like dreams about what that would be.
Yeah.
And maybe if it's not quite
I remember
that,
when
that's why people are upset.
Pikachu like photo mode, whatever. What was that game called on Nintendo?
Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? This is not what I want. I want a freaking Pokemon game.
It was fun.
Like,
That's what I played.
Yeah, I love that game.
I like that game.
No, it's like that's the thing though. It wasn't a bad game. I'm just saying like you're upset because it's not the game you want.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's why I think people are mostly.
The thing is, I don't want to say that like anybody who has that opinion, like, oh, I'm disappointed. Like, I'm not trying to invalidate those feelings. Like, you're entirely fine and entitled to have your opinions and feelings on the matter. It's just when people start to become toxic about it and like sending like making like dark jokes, like, oh, Game Freak, they're lazy, they don't care, this, that, and the other thing. I'm just like, dude, like you got to grow up, man. Like first of all, this series is primarily the demographic is children. Imagine getting mad at like Sesame Street or SpongeBob SquarePants. Like imagine getting so mad at that series and take a look at your life and maybe rationalize like is your life really that bad that this is the worst thing that's going on right now? So that's what I'm just saying is like you can have your opinions and feelings, you can voice them, just don't be toxic, don't be a shithead, don't send death threats to people, because that's the thing is like I know you guys won't probably follow this too much, but people, when the review embargo came up last week, any site that was giving it positive reviews, like people were being harassed for it. Like their viewers being harassed online.
That's right.
Like I think there was even a joke. One outlet was like, "This is the only like headline we can do without having our writers harassed." It was like a new Pokemon game with new Pokemon is coming out this week or something like that. And they were like making some meta commentaries like, "Well, we don't want to say like, oh, this Pokemon game is great because then these people are like, don't you care about national decks? This, that, and the other thing is just like." Oh my God! Please, like it. They announced this months ago. It's not even new news. Like it's like again, like if Diablo Immortal, people were still upset about that a year later. It's just like get it over yourself, please. Like just move on.
But what's funny is like a handful of games all released recently, and there's like just the reception of them has been controversial for every one of them. There's Death Stranding, which we've talked about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also even Jedi Fallen Order, where it's EA, so it's always controversial, but apparently like it's still mostly positive despite the embargo we were worried about too.
Yeah, it seems good. I was going to talk about that. So,
but right. Real quick, Tony, who'd you start with? Who'd you pick?
Score Bunny.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'm a basic fire bitch first of all, but also I saw the final evolutions of all of them, and this one was like the least offensive to me. Like the monkey one is just terrible, and the Sobble water one looks just so weird to me. I'm like, oh, you're a little too sassy for me. Like I can't handle this right now. But yeah, so there's that.
Corey?
Just mostly board games. This again.
That's cool.
Borderlands, but just a little bit.
All right. Let's get into some news here. Like we mentioned, let's go with NPD from last week, which came out on Thursday. Do we have that linked here? Hang on, let me get this over and then close it down. So yeah, we had the most notable thing being Red Dead Redemption 2 at 19, but
the most notable. No. Let's see what we got here. Top 12. Jesus. Top 20 best-selling games of October are as follows: Call of Duty, not a big shock. The Outer Worlds, that's pretty impressive. I think Microsoft. Microsoft got a good purchase. I think that was a great purchase. I really hope they don't waste this studio. I really don't want to see this. Like, I'm guarded optimistic with Microsoft because of how many studios they've wasted.
Like, it's not as bad as EA, but it's not great. They have a really bad history with this. So I really hope that they take Obsidian and don't make them a one-trick pony. I'd love to see them. Obviously, their wheelhouse is this game, and I would love to see a sequel. But I want to see them also be. I don't want to see them churning out sequels to this game for the next 8 years. But anyways, at number 2 is very good, especially because Game Pass. It's free on Game Pass, so it's impressive. Luigi's Mansion 3 at number 3. That's impressive. I don't see that as a big game, but like Switch games sell. I think that's really what it is. I don't
perfect
see
timing too.
I guess it is. That's what it is. So, Tony, did you get that? You didn't get that game?
Which game?
Luigi's Mansion?
No. I'm
not a big fan of it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's one of those like. To me, it's a third string franchise, just because like I don't really care for Luigi, first of all, and then like second of all, even the game, like I mean, I'm such a Nintendo guy that like even like the weak systems, like I have to like really proposition for a lot of stuff like Wonderful 101 or whatever and stuff like that. But even Luigi's Mansion 1, when on GameCube, I'm like, nah, like not for me. Like on launch day on GameCube, I picked up Super Monkey Ball and Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader, or whatever it was called, the Star Wars game. That's it. I didn't pick up Luigi's Mansion or Wave Race. Those were the titles I got launched with. It wasn't until 2 weeks later when Pikmin and Smash Brothers came out that I got a Nintendo game. It was really funny because I was like, nah, like even then I was like, this game doesn't really look up my alley. I'm not saying it's bad, it just doesn't appeal to me. I'm not saying I won't ever get it, just not at full retail price.
It is. It's one of those games that is maybe more for children, just because it's like it's like kiddie horror.
Kiddie
like
scary.
Scary, but not like
scared by the coolies.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Man, I'm looking at this list. Gears 5 failed me. That's what failed me. That's the game. That's the game that failed me. That's not in the top 20 for this month. Is it?
Well,
yeah. The one interesting I wanted to point out here was number 10, Ring Fit.
Yes. Go ahead.
Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah, that didn't fail me because I didn't see that coming in the list. That's true.
That's so crazy.
So
and you know what?
10 too.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's a Ring Fit Adventure, Mike.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
it's successor.
It's really funny because I actually talked to a couple of friends who did get it, and they swear to me that it's actually a fun game. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it on my list because, like, like holiday whatever list. Because I was like, you know what? Winter's coming up. There's going to be times where it's, like, just too cold to go outside. I was like, we'll try this out. And, like, the thing is, now that, like, people are allowed to, like, post, like, later stuff, one of the funny things is, like, their bosses and their, like, themes. So, like, my one friend sent me images of the one boss, and she's like a leg professional or whatever like that. So like the fight against her is all like leg moves, like squats and leg raises and all that stuff, and just like, oh god, like never skip leg day, that kind of jokey meme stuff like that. I was like, I think I'm gonna get this. We'll see how it goes.
I mean, a lot of this list is pretty standard. Besides that, so you have Madden, NBA, Tom Clancy's Breakpoint, WWE 2K20, which isn't even fucking working.
No, that game got ripped apart.
It should not be 7. What are people buying?
Well, people just buy those.
They're just trained to like get the new one.
But
I was in GameStop. I was buying a fig pen at GameStop, and the guy was getting it. And I was like, "What is this guy doing? Do I say something?" I was like,
"You're
he was trading in the old one for it."
Guys, supporting garbage. Maybe he likes to have like the glitches that happen. I don't know. Maybe he likes that. I don't know.
I mean, I think that helps.
Some of them look. Too. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of people just sharing like the nonsense.
Yeah, it's like the streamer culture, man.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. FIFA 20, Borderlands 3, Ring Adventure is number 10. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening is 11. Mario Kart 8, Minecraft, Mortal Kombat 11, Overwatch, Smash Brothers Ultimate, Code Vein, which is good to see up there. RDR 2 and Breath of the Wild is your top 20 for October.
Now, again, maybe I missed it when I was gone, but Outer Worlds at 2. But do we know how this works with Game Pass or not?
It doesn't count.
The Game Pass won't get counted, and that's the one thing I was going to point out was that if you looked at the top 10 for console specific, so Xbox One Outer Worlds ranked 4th, but if you look at PlayStation 4, it ranks 2nd. So you could definitely see that it seems like the PlayStation 4, digital plus physical sales propelled it to a successful position there. You know what the other crazy thing looking at the top 20 is that there are 2 Zelda games in the top 20, which I think is pretty cool. Number 11 is Link's Awakening, still holding on pretty strong in Breath of the Wild at number 20.
The Gears drop-off is just, that was bad.
Dude, I mean, this is like, this is the thing, is like, I've been saying, like, ever since, Xbox One was coming out, it's like, Microsoft relied way too heavily on their bread and butter staples.
I will
Halo,
say this.
Gears of War.
Gears 5 already outsold Gears 4, even with Game Pass, which is impressive.
Well, that's what I'm surprised it even did as well as it did because of Game Pass.
I just thought it would be in the top 20, impressive. And that moves Red Dead down to 20. And I thought Breath of the Wild would beat it, so that would be. I thought it would be in the. You did top 25. I think Red Dead would be in there. I just top 20 did not see it because of this. So I just thought there were too many other IPs around. So, God, and the flop of Anthem. I mean, all of these. There's a lot of things that were made before this. Before happened with this bet. There's a lot of flops this year.
Are we reporting that Anthem's getting rebooted?
Is that happening? I don't know. They're not letting it die. That's for certain. They said that already. But they're working on a reboot. That's what we heard. I don't know how much they're gonna put into that, but it's not very EA like. So if this happens, that's impressive.
Again, neither is Fallen Order. And,
yeah. Well, that's what the other thing was surprising. Last week we were reporting, and we even titled our episode, based on the fact that
it was a little clickbaity because apparently no one else was really that worried, but
we were worried. We don't get to see the previews of this game, and we have to go off of what we know and what we've learned from it all these times, forever. Like if a game has an embargo up till the 11th hour, and you're not allowed to try it, that usually is not a good sign.
Not always, but usually because.
Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah, because the thing is when you have a smash hit on your hands, you shout that from the rooftops weeks in advance.
Yeah,
it happened with Breath of the Wild. It happened with God of War, Spider-Man. You have those titles, you shout that from the rooftops.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I think again, EA is not confident in this type of game.
I don't think EA is confident in anything right now, other than their sports shit.
Yeah.
Well,
that's true.
So that could be why they didn't want to give it any chance to not launch really well because they don't see it as a moneymaker for them really.
Yeah.
Long term.
It's crazy though with the spoilers. I saw you posted something you got spoiled too, Mike.
I got something that if I thought hard, I would probably guess that it was possible that a certain thing or something can be in the game. But it was just a thumbnail on YouTube. I'm like, God.
No, I mean, even just browsing websites and stuff, people are spoiling it in all over the place. It's just wow, okay, that's cool.
But,
the thumbnail thing really does bother me. You get these YouTube sites and stuff they'll just throw the spoiler right in the thumbnail. It's what. Come on, at least give people warning before. You're not even watching the video. You're just spoiling it because they're scrolling through a feed of recommended videos.
YouTube needs to find a way to block spoilers and thumbnails more than giving big companies creators money. That should be more of their focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do the blur thing that we got going on in the background right now. It's the word
absolutely.
Spoilers in the title, something. Yeah. Hashtag spoilers. Someone's blur it out.
I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I'm not. But again, at the same time, why? Just avoid these places. Especially if it's something
YouTube is where you go, and where I go when there's just nothing to do.
It is not.
I don't necessarily care about this, but I'm just surprised that. Not necessarily surprised. It's amazing to me that you're just gonna put the ending of a game in your thumbnail.
No, yeah, I know. Well, it's because they know it's
the day it comes out, the weekend it comes out.
It's shitty. It is, yeah.
Yeah,
it's shitty.
That's not cool.
That's not right.
For me, I didn't care. I was okay. I thought that was pretty neat that this thing happens, but at the same time, it's there are people that are still playing this game. You don't control
thumbnails because you get recommended videos that you don't directly search for, they just pop up.
I mean, I watch Star Wars theory stuff all the time for Rise of Skywalker, so now I'm damn worried to go on YouTube. So
you should be.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful.
I want to play this game soon.
And if you with all the Disney Plus stuff too, you're watching Disney Plus stuff, and Like you're seeing Discord videos and stuff like that.
That was kind of part of the reason why I decided to watch The Mandalorian too, because I got partially spoiled through like a somewhat vague title, like just thrown up there. I'm like, all right, I better just watch this. So I'm not.
Well, it's a good thing you did, because like the thing has been like, we can talk about it, but
Tony hasn't seen it.
Yeah, but it's been spoiled all over the goddamn place.
Oh,
like,
I know it already.
IGN put a poll up on Twitter on it today of who's the cutest character. So.
Who's the cutest character?
So
no, it's tough. Like when spoilers. So. We had a whole episode on spoilers.
We did.
Yes.
All right. Other news: we've got DualShock 5 design being shown, and man, I'm so surprised how it looks. Aren't you guys? I'm actually surprised they kept the touchpad a little bit.
But the thing here, the USB, does that mean it's not going to have a headphone jack?
Oh. That's a good question. No, I would assume it's still got a headphone jack underneath. Doesn't it look like it has it there in that patent?
I didn't look at it that closely. I just know they mentioned the USB.
I can't imagine they remove it.
No, the USB-C is going to be on the top of it. So that's got ports on the bottom, so I think you're good.
I mean, you have a micro USB right now on the top, and then
that's what I'm saying. It's only going to change that. I want that USB-C anyways. It just makes everything so more universal. I'm like building up on those adapters now with devices, and I want USB-C on everything next time. Like it's just my iPhone. That's one of the big reasons I did not upgrade my iPhone. Not because of the substandard upgrade, but there was no USB-C option, which I think they're going to do next phone. And I just want USB-C. I want to be able to say, can I just use your adapter? Because everybody else is fucking using this adapter in the world. And I don't want this lightning crap anymore. Sorry. Now I'm going on a tangent of Apple. Sorry.
And, to be fair, everybody, there's a shit ton of lightning stuff out there.
I don't care. I want USB-C.
No, I'm just saying. I agree. I would say
courage, Corey. Courage.
No, I agree. I was first one. I was right there with you guys with the USB-C.
But anyway, back to the controller.
DualShock 5.
I just hope it's more hardy, because
it looks like it might be.
These PS4 DualShock 4s have been like very fragile, and they actually started with like a
Mike,
flaw.
if you throw them, I mean, what are you going to do?
No, I know. Not even just that though. They started with a flaw. That's part of it. Like,
they have shit. They have shit for battery life. They absolutely do.
Shit for battery life. They kill it with the strip, and some of them just like my current controller right now. It's not charging. Again, that question mark when it's plugged in.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything to this controller, not this one.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it's doing, but also the triggers have had a flaw kind of with the way the springs were set up, in at least the first generation.
Did you see that the Elite controller too is getting a lot of recalls? Not recalls, but sendbacks, because it's got a lot of defects out of the box.
I've heard that.
They're getting a high failure rate, so stay away for right now. Just so you know. Go on. What were you gonna say, Tony?
Oh, so the interesting. I mean, I agree with Mike. Like, I still prefer the DualShock over the Xbox One base controller. I haven't really tried the Elite myself too much.
I love my Elite, but
but the interesting things about the PlayStation 5 controller to me, if you look at this patent, and again, that's this could be ultimately subject to change, obviously, but as is, if this comes out, the two interesting parts are the light bar is removed, so hopefully battery life will be improved across the board.
Yep.
The touchpad is still there, so this definitely, in my mind, shocked, get it?
Yeah.
In my mind, this cements the fact that PlayStation 5 will absolutely be backwards compatible with PlayStation 4, because why else would you include the touchpad? To my knowledge, none of the games released in the 6 years have properly utilized that touchpad in any meaningful way, right? Like,
the only time I've ever used it is you can actually use it to scroll through the letters to type.
Yeah, I think they tried to use it in Uncharted 4 a little bit for stuff, didn't they? It was like easy cover or something like that.
Something like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it acts like an extra button in some games. I know that.
No, in Uncharted, I know that
it's just like a menu. Like, let's pull up the menu.
Yeah.
I know Uncharted was the only game that had was that this generation? Now I'm confused. The whole hit your light.
Uncharted 4 was,
Yeah, hit the whole.
I don't know.
It's a flashlight, which probably broke it because it was so fragile.
It looks like it's got beefier handles, and I've heard there's from the other reports it was rubberized grips possibly on the bottom of it.
Well, they're gonna have haptic feedback in that.
Haptic feedback, rubberized grips, which is cool because that is something that I think it adds a little feel to it.
You still got the sound coming out of the controller, I see too.
Yep, yeah, it's still there too. So we'll see. I mean,
thing is, the Elite controller is the best controller like I've ever used, and so like it's all you need. You don't need all this touch bar, touchpad thingies and things like that. Like I just want more buttons.
Yeah.
Give me like a better tactile feel.
Yeah, I mean, I actually accidentally picked up yesterday the Xbox One's Project Scorpio controller I have to start playing Outer Worlds, and I'm like, well, I'll just play with this for a little bit, and I'm started playing. I'm like, no, I put it back, and I'm like, I can't go back. Like even the feel of the buttons and the trigger, like the analog sticks, completely different on the Elite controller.
Premium controller,
Yeah.
and it feels good. It's hefty. It's strong. I don't really care what they do. I just think that there should be an Elite version.
I really do. I really think they should too.
Scuff makes kind of Elite
Scuff makes some good stuff.
PlayStation.
Yeah, they do. I was looking at Scuffs. But considering I haven't used my PlayStation in like 5 months, I stopped looking.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. What else we got? Oh, hey guys, we've got Half-Life. New
Half-Life.
It's happening. It's happening. How many guys here are going to play Half-Life? Because how many, first of all, own VR? It's like 1%. 1% of the Steam store, I think, has a VR system.
Wow.
So yeah, Half-Life is coming to VR. What is it? A new thing?
Was it Alex?
Alex. Yeah, her name's just Alex.
Our flagship VR game. They're going to have a whole announcement this week, right?
Thursday.
So we'll know more about it then, but we'll talk more about it next week. I'm shocked they're finally bringing us a Half-Life game. It looks, from what I've heard early on, it does continue the story, but it's only for people who have VR, and you're getting rid of.
But the real question is, does this mean that we'll get more Half-Life now after this?
I mean, it's better than it was, but
yeah, is this Half-Life 3 confirmed?
No.
No.
Give up, man. It's never coming.
No.
Sorry.
Well,
it's never coming.
Got a new thing. We got a new Half-Life thing. It's here.
It just feels like this again. But the thing is, I have no horse in this race. I don't care about this. It's kind of funny to me. This is like almost a Diablo Immortal-esque announcement, where it's like people have been just dying and
foaming at the mouth,
right? Foaming at the mouth for a new Half-Life 3, and it's like, hey guys, what? Don't you have a VR set? That's instantly what I pictured in my head. What, you guys don't have VR headsets yet? Like, that's
get on board, people.
Right? Exactly. So, enjoying a little bit of what is the word? Schadenfreude, where you get like enjoyment out of other people's misery because paying attention to the online forum, like people are like, I don't have a VR headset. Blah, blah, blah. So it was like,
I think people are more surprised that any Half-Life thing exists at all.
I think it's bad because I think it's hyping them up again for Half-Life 3, and it doesn't mean you're getting it.
Well, I think that they'd have to consider that before they made this.
No, I don't think so at all. I think this is hey, let's try to get people to buy VR by making a Half-Life kind of game with it.
Well, Half-Life game.
It's a Half-Life kind of game until I see what it is. Sorry.
I think just that this existing vastly increases the chances that
it does.
A real Half-Life.
I don't think so.
I don't think so at all. I think this is a cash grab from them to get people into their freaking VR.
I don't think Half-Life 3.
Every game
Half-Life 3 will never be made, but you may get Half-Life : something, but I don't think you'll ever have Half-Life 3.
You really get hung up on the numbers a lot.
Yes, it does.
Not happening.
I don't. If they make a core franchise Half-Life again, we'll see. Doesn't matter if they give it a number or not.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't think this means anything for Half-Life 3 fans. I think this is based on them trying to cash grab and.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
That's really
sell more VR headsets.
Now listen, we were wrong about Fallen Order last week. It seems. Maybe next week we say we were wrong about how this looks. We'll see.
Well, we won't know anything by next week about this.
We'll have an announcement. I think it's Thursday, right?
It'll be an announcement on Thursday. We'll see how it looks.
Yeah. So, all right. That's pretty much it for the...
you don't want to talk XO at all, Jim?
Oh, yeah, XO19. I forgot about that. I didn't put any news on there for that. XO19, I completely forgot about that. Jeez.
Or Stadia? We're not going to talk about Stadia?
Fuck Stadia. God damn. Like, that is dead on arrival. Vaporware.
I have seen more. I was telling Mike when you get hiring issues. I've seen more people talk about the Video Game Awards nominations discussion than
we should talk about
Stadia
that. That's what we should talk
discussion.
about. let's talk about the Video Game Awards. The nominations. So where is that actually? I have to bring that up. Crap. I don't have it open though.
It's right here in the chat.
Oh, I don't have it. Oh, in the chat.
It's not in the general chat.
In the general chat. Hmm. All right. So the nominations. The Game Awards coming December 12th. Here are your nominations for Game of the Year. Control, which a lot of people have talked about. I've heard a lot of good things.
Except it doesn't run if you have a console. So.
Yes. Death Stranding, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Resident Evil 2, which is weird in 2019 to have Resident Evil 2 nominated for Game of the Year, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and The Outer Worlds. Again, Mike made the best statement in our chat. I didn't realize this year was so flat. No offense, this is no knock on Smash Brothers because that's a fantastic game, but it did come out last year.
Yeah, it was the last year game.
Yeah, if you take that out of this list, Sekiro I think is probably the most popular game there. I think big seller.
I think RE2 is still better.
Yeah, Resident Evil sold crazy well.
I don't like giving Game of the Year to a remaster. I just don't.
Yeah, and
so you're saying Final Fantasy VII would not be qualified for Game of the Year?
Absolutely not. I'm completely fine saying that.
This is rebuilt from scratch.
It is pretty different than
and they change some of the stuff on you. Like you're not doing exactly the same thing. Characters are getting met in different places.
Yeah, and they also Tony talked about the dogs were changed. That whole incident.
It's not exactly like The Last of Us
HD. Right, it's not just like Last of Us HD or something like that.
Right, you're not just upgrading it.
So, all right, well, you make a good point. So maybe I'll give Final Fantasy a chance then.
but we all think that it's automatically going to be Death Stranding, right?
There's a clear bias here.
Well, the thing is,
conflict of interest. Conflict of interest is the best way to say it.
The way it works is that supposedly a certain percentage of popular votes by the fans get factored in, and then the rest is based on industry people who are on this board. And you combine them, there's some algorithm, and that's how they do it. So depending on how much weight Jeff Keighley has on his own show, yes, there's a non-zero chance that it's just Death Stranding. But
the biggest, for me, I think I haven't even finished the game, but I feel like Three Houses should have been on here.
That's the thing that sticks out to me.
That is my front runner. Yeah.
That stuck out to me that I was a little pissed. I was like, really?
Yeah, because Control over Fire Emblem? I don't know.
I'm kind of surprised Mortal Kombat 11 didn't get a nomination at least.
That's the thing. I feel
this is just Game of the Year.
No, Game of the Year, but I feel like they don't have a nomination.
It's not on Fighter?
Look, I again, back to Resident Evil 2. I get your guys' points a little bit more now. I don't think it should be on the list over Fire Emblem. I don't think.
Mm-hmm. I would replace Resident Evil 2 with Fire Emblem. I would replace Control first, but
no, Control I've heard great stuff about. It's a new game this year. I'm still a little bit.
I feel like Control is the art house, whatever.
The Oscar bait,
It's the Oscar. It's the Oscar nomination.
It didn't sell well.
But what is Death Stranding?
Exactly.
Well, Death Stranding is the Keighley Kojima factor. That's what's there.
I feel a little bad.
Is Smash Brothers? Is Smash Brothers the Marvel
everyone who plays it likes it.
Is Smash Brothers the Marvel movie then?
Probably, yeah.
It is. That's
biggest crossover in entertainment history.
Yeah. No, I honestly I would. There's Control. I can see Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2 all being swapped out here for much bigger games this year. That I guess there wasn't that many big games, but
I think Smash Brothers gets a disadvantage just because it's been so long.
Absolutely.
No one's played this. Well, not no one, but a lot of people who sort of move on from games after they play them.
It's not fresh in their minds.
Played it for months, 10 months.
Well, you look at Outer Worlds and Death Stranding; they just came out.
Can they open up a write-in? Start campaigning for Fire Emblem?
Yeah.
Because it should be on this. It should be absolutely on this list. It should.
I absolutely agree. That was my biggest omission. I was like, really?
And that's the first thing I thought too. Was like I said, I haven't even finished it yet, and the game is fantastic and one of the better games I've played so far. I just haven't finished it. So.
Honestly, if I'm looking back this year, I'm not trying to give you guys spoilers. I don't have anything in my mind that is better than that this year for me for Game of the Year. I don't. I've played a bunch of games, and everything we talk about is just falling short of greatness, except for that game.
Yep. No, I'm with you on that one.
So I don't know. I mean, there's more games to consider still, which is why we don't do ours till next year. But we will announce them.
There isn't really much unless we all get like Fallen Order or something and like it.
I'm getting Fallen Order. I'm going to get Fallen Order.
I mean, I'm probably going to get it too, but not for a while.
No, but I'm going to try to get it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to play Shenmue 3. I'm going to finish Outer Worlds. I hope this week I get more extra time. Next week I have a whole week off. So I'm hoping to get through a bunch of stuff, and then I can get on to Fallen Order because I want to give it a chance to be in this running for me. But like, I don't know. There's a lot. Like, I don't know. This list, I don't like this list. And Death Stranding, I've heard so many polarizing opinions about it. I don't see how it's up for Game of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is this year is just there's no one like either or multiple marquee titles that's just like people can rally behind it. Like in previous years, obviously all the Sony people or people that are fans of like cinematic games can rally behind, Last of Us, God of War, or people that are like open world, like Spider-Man, Breath of the Wild, Witcher 3. Like there's no one game
Red
that's
Dead Redemption.
Right, Red Dead Redemption. Like, there's no one thing that's just like head and shoulders above
that's the difference
almost all the competition. So I mean, that's to be expected because I'm pretty sure most of us talked about it last year was that this was going to be a down year for both Sony and Microsoft because it's a transitional year. It's the 1 year before the next generation systems. They're not going to release any big ones other than Last of Us 2. And look, that got delayed towards the last moment there. So it's just to be expected. To be expected.
Yeah, next year's gonna be interesting.
Yes,
that's for sure.
We'll see.
Yeah,
next year's got a lot of good stuff. What else do we have? Google, as we mentioned, Google Stadia launched today to a lot of fanfare. I've heard it's people are loving it. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I said that backwards. No, again, a product that nobody asked for, that a small percentage are playing, that I don't know how it's going to stay alive for Google. They're so quick to cut things. I just don't see how. Everybody's arguing that they're buying up studios to make games, and that's fine. They still may do that for them. It doesn't mean Stadia continues. So that's my point. It's a product that has now 22 games, by the way. Last week we mentioned 12. They upped it to 22 for launch. There's some okay games in this launch lineup. There really are. But
still, one of the biggest problems is that you're paying
to buy the game
twice.
Yeah, you have to give them $10 a month to play their service and then buy your games. And Microsoft has gotten you into this platform now where you can pay $10 a month and get a shit ton of free content. And call what it is. Like, Microsoft said it first, and they set this precedent, and that's it. It's like Netflix you pay $10 a month for that content. You don't pay anything more for their movies that come out. Bright with Will Smith. I don't buy that. It's in there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, that was a big star name. That's why I said it. But like, you can't charge. Like, I don't care if you pay $10 a month, sell the games for $20. Don't charge like full retail price for these games. Like, I understand charging.
No,
something.
I mean, I wouldn't pay anything for a digital game like in this service.
I wouldn't either because I don't trust it's going to be around. But
nope.
Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know. Anybody else? Tony, thoughts? Anything? Did I cover it pretty well?
No, you covered it pretty well. And again, it's just I'm sure there is a demographic of people who don't want to buy the console, who have unlimited or near unlimited data cap, like no data cap bet rather, who don't want to fiddle around with that kind of stuff and want to enjoy a game streaming service like that. I'm not saying there isn't, but I can't see that being a significant audience to make a business like venture out of it, especially somebody as large as Google. Like, Google doesn't get into something just like for funsies. They're a giant multi-billion-dollar company. Like they could be using that time, energy, effort, resources on any number of IT technological things.
It's hard to get into this industry already. It's not easy, and the thing that I think is really hurts them the most right now is that this is a console launch for them, like with no console, and it's not even giving you what they promised in.
Don't you have to have the Chrome Ultra?
Everything.
You have to have Chrome Ultra, so there is a console.
Yeah.
There's no other way to play it right now.
No, I understand. Like, you have to have that's not, to me, that's not a console though.
So you are not only
that's
that
a device that you're using. It's like
because you can't
Fire Stick.
But
I wouldn't
because
call it that
again,
a
it's
console.
arriving right now, paying $10 a month, and you have to pay $70 for the device, which is
Well, you have to pay for the controller too. So it's like $170.
Yes, and the Founders Pack is $150, right? So it's like you still have to pay $150, which is more than. I mean, you're actually paying for the service then, because the $150 didn't pay for a year of this, did it?
No, I think you get.
You're paying
something, though.
$120 a year, plus the $150, so $270 a year, which is instead more like $20 to $22 a month, whatever that is. My math may be way off. No, it's 22. I'm right. I'm close. 22 a month plus the full retail price for these games. It's just stupid. It's stupid. Anyways, so
very stupid.
XO19. I liked
things.
I liked Obsidian's original that they're showing. Like it's a short turnaround game. It got a lot of shit for it because it's not Obsidian's it's not Outer Worlds 2. It's Grounded, which is like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids game that I think looks fun.
Were people expecting a sequel weeks after?
I don't know, but the comments from people were ridiculous on Twitter. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, these guys were clearly working on this game as they were being acquired anyways, and this is what we're getting as a just quick turnaround. And
it's like 16 people or something, right?
Come on. Yeah, it's a small team working on this from them. So they're already working on probably Outer Worlds 2. And I don't know. What else was that XO19? Do we get anything else from...
Oh, we got the Rare.
Just a lot of Game Pass.
Oh, the Rare game. The Game Pass stuff, yeah. That's right. The Final Fantasies all coming to Game Pass.
Yakuza.
Yep.
I'm happy about that. Because that's one of those things that I've been wanting to play, but it's just like,
it's like one of those Sony exclusives that wasn't really an exclusive, but like it was only on Sony's PlayStation.
Yeah.
But now, so
I think that's awesome. I've given that a try before, but for free, I'll go for it again. With my
Dude, for somebody that loves Shenmue, I can't believe that.
With my Shenmue love, I'll give it a try. I did, but I didn't really get drawn into it in the beginning. Again, after I tried Yakuza 6, but I'll just start it from there. So we'll see.
I mean, as far as the Rare RPG thing, Everwild is called.
That was a big one.
And it.
Everwild. It looked really familiar, right?
Yeah, I was like, if you didn't know anything about this, like you have to say like this is very heavily influenced by a certain Breath of the Wild game.
Yeah.
Like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really weird. Huh.
It's like they were like, we
have no idea what it's about still.
We don't know either. Yeah, we don't know anything about it, but yeah.
But yeah, the art style and just like the trailer itself is like, well, all right, this is influenced heavily by another game that we've seen already.
Yeah, what's funny is like I really feel like Rare would take the opportunity to go back to like a Perfect Dark style game for a launch of a new console. I feel like they should have done that again. And it's time. Like, I understand not overusing IPs.
Well, they had Halo Reach coming, so it's
Game
Pass,
right?
right?
Game Pass, yeah. It's all part of the Master Chief collection. Is getting... What are they getting to? They just announced more for Master Chief. But
Reach.
That's coming. Yeah, Reach. Yeah. But, like, I just feel like I was really surprised by Rare that I understand they want to do this, and that's cool. It might be awesome. But I really expected them to do a Perfect Dark 3. Just because it's been so long, and if there was any time to actually bring out a sequel for Microsoft, it's Perfect Dark. Because it's been so long. Or Viva Pinata. One of those two. I feel like those were the games that they should have been focusing on to finally bring us a sequel to that we would have... that we're clamoring for. Not clamoring for Perfect Dark, but would have been a great surprise to actually play again. So, that's what I
don't disagree.
Yeah.
It's just... I mean, look, and this is what I like to point to when people are like, oh, acquisitions, everybody needs to be acquiring studios. I'm like, it doesn't always work out. And in my opinion, sorry to say it, Rare is a perfect example of investing heavily in acquiring a company and it never pays off. In my opinion, Microsoft has not made their money back on that investment in buying Rare.
No.
Since they've done it in 2000.
Give them credit.
Whatever it was.
They haven't closed them down. They've closed so many studios.
No, they haven't closed them down, but again, it's just because you buy the development, the studio, doesn't mean you're going to get great things. If the people leave, then what's the point?
You have BioWare. BioWare was on top of the world, and now they're making Anthem and garbage like that.
Yeah, that's so true.
But no, yes, I do like the Everwild as a thing, though. I think that it's nice to not just
Absolutely.
go backwards. Gotta go forwards.
Like I said, I'm good with it. I just feel like they really. I mean, if there's any time to release an IP that they've used before, like reusing an IP, it's Perfect Dark or Viva Pinata right now. Like for a new system, get that IP out there. I think it would have been a great idea for them. So, but it would have sold really well. Yeah. Anyways, all right. And that's pretty much it for 473 of the Gamecast. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming next week. Again, it's our Thanksgiving episode, so we'll go over some Black Friday stuff. Walmart's got some good stuff. So we'll go over that. Tune in next week again. Write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. See you guys soon.
Peace.
We're out.